Introducing a completely redesigned experience that you can sense. And that senses you. The new Dell Latitude laptops bring your work closer to you.
Across central Victoria, this is Win News.
Tonight, bushfire-affected businesses urgently call for support. New V-Line timetables from Sunday promising more trains. And a CFA Brigade fundraises to buy land for its new station. Good evening, I'm Bruce Roberts. Also tonight, rare cars, iconic trucks and world-class collections rev up summer tourism. Police are investigating the circumstances surrounding a fatal crash in Harcourt this afternoon. Emergency services were called to reports a truck had struck a pedestrian walking on the Calder near the Midland Highway overpass. The pedestrian died at the scene and investigations are ongoing. $160 million of additional funding to bushfire-affected communities was announced today. It includes $500,000 for the Harcourt Co-op Cool Store. It comes as local businesses who've been affected by road closures have spent weeks fighting for support.
It's starting to look like a normal trading day at Harcourt's general store.
From tomorrow, we are open 100% to support the local community and attract people to Harcourt.
But that hasn't been the case since the January 9 bushfires closed off the town, leaving the surviving businesses with no income.
Everyone who got small businesses around us here in Harcourt, we are all affected.
James Carlin owns 4 hospitality businesses in the Longwood Fire region and says being closed in their busiest month will be felt for the rest of the year.
The month of January, we've been affected 60%, and it isn't getting any better. The road from Yea to Molesworth opened yesterday. We hope that may cause an uplift, but at this stage we haven't seen it.
Businesses who weren't touched by the fire but impacted by road closures are fighting for government funding as they currently aren't eligible.
It's my belief that the state government needs to step up, work with local people on the ground, the councils, the tourism bodies. They need to do something to support businesses.
We have businesses that can't run, and that's where we are. All the small businesses need support now, not tomorrow, now.
Today, $160 million of additional funding was announced for bushfire-affected communities.
We've heard really clearly how important it is to the local community, both in terms of business support and getting some certainty around the rebuild for this important asset in the local community.
It includes $500,000 for the Harcourt Co-op Cool Store. The Walwar, Dargo and Carla River fires make up the 3 largest burning across the state. All
fires are behaving relatively well today as our crews continue to strengthen containment lines, backburn strengthen those containments and work to manage the hazards and hazardous trees and open roads for communities.
This weekend's forecasted thunderstorms are looking to be a concern.
The risk for us, given the fuels in the landscape are now very dry after the heat period that we've had, and the risk of dry lightning starting new fires in that landscape is a real concern.
Lena Zuccarelli, Win News.
Residents in the Central Goldfields are being encouraged to check their measles protection with a free adult immunisation clinic coming to Maryborough next week. Council's immunisation service will run the clinic at the Maryborough Community Hub on Thursday evening, responding to a rise in measles across Victoria. Health authorities say many adults only received 1 dose as children and now need a second for full protection. The clinic is free, doesn't require Medicare and aims to better protect local families and young children. Hopes are high for regional commuters. Extra V-Line services will add greater flexibility and connectivity for work, play and health. An extra 30 a week will run across regional Victoria as the new Metro timetable rolls out on Sunday.
It's full steam ahead for extra V-Line services across regional Victoria this Sunday as the new Metro network opens.
Well, I mean, Melbourne is growing and there's a lot more people moving to Melbourne. It's pretty great.
Look, it's a really exciting time for regional Victorians. We're looking at the Metro Tunnel commencing full operations on Sunday, which untangles the train network in Melbourne, but also enables extra services across regional Victoria.
Regional Victorians will see 32 new train services each week. These new services include 18 new services on the Traralgon line, 10 along the Seymour line, and 4 on the Echuca line.
The Seymour line has a huge growth area in the north of Melbourne, so those additional 10 peak services will definitely make a huge difference for those living in the north of Melbourne.
Some locals say these extra train services still aren't going to be enough.
The government promised a lot of things, some of which they've delivered and some of which they haven't. For example, they promised there'd be 5 trains a day to Albury. There's still only 3 each way.
It could be a bit more, yeah. Regional centres is also important to Victoria, the economy as well. So I think, I would say more improvement will be better.
Today, full extreme heat timetables are in place for Ballarat, Maryborough, Bendigo and Echuca lines. Tomorrow, partial extreme heat timetables will be in place for Bendigo, Echuca, Seymour and Shepparton lines. On Saturday, coaches will replace trains on the Swan Hill line between Swan Hill and Bendigo for the 1:35pm Swan Hill to Southern Cross and the 6:43 to Southern Cross. Passengers are advised to plan ahead and check the V-Line website before travelling. From Sunday, free public transport on weekends will end and tickets will go back to full price. Ruby Silverback, Win News.
Maryborough Cricket Club will christen its new turf wickets at Princes Park this weekend, hosting Beaufort in the first match on the upgraded surface. The project's delivered 4 new pitches, replacing the old square with improved drainage, irrigation and turf. The $190,000 project was jointly funded by Council, the state government and Cricket Australia. Runners and walkers are getting prepared for National Take Back the Track Day, an event which pushes for the safety of women and gender diverse runners. It's the second year for the National Day, and runners and walkers across the state are being encouraged to register for an event in their town.
There needs to be conversations about the violence and the harassment that women and gender diverse runners experience, but the movement's also about celebrating our love for running and why it's so worthy of being protected.
The event will take place nationally on Feb 15. To register, you can visit the Take Back the Track website. The next stage of a community-backed plan to restore the Colaban River at Lauriston is to get underway in the coming weeks. Contractors will remove willows, blackberry and gorse along a 3-kilometre stretch upstream of the Lauriston Bridge. The weed removal will start next month outside the platypus breeding season. The riverbank will be left intact with fencing and revegetation planned in the years ahead as part of the long-running Healthy Colaban Catchment Project. The site for a new Gippsland CFA station is still sitting empty 6 years since the community raised almost $200,000 to buy the land. It comes as the CFA's annual report shows only 3 stations were built last financial year.
An empty block of land bought by the Meetung community after the Black Summer bushfires.
Communities, obviously, at that time were hurting a fair bit, so it was really good for them to dig deep. Lots of fundraisers, lots of raffles.
Raising $180,000 to buy the land, 6 years on, there's no sign of the station the town was hoping for.
It has sat empty since then, so we're on the waiting list to get a new station. Can't tell you when we're going to... Whenever the listing expires, that's when we'll get our stations.
The opposition says many volunteer brigades are in similar situations.
We've seen a dramatic drop-off in the number of stations that have been rebuilt in the last probably 10 years in particular, and even the ones that the government has been doing are either delayed, massive blowouts in cost.
The CFA's annual report showed the value of its buildings, land and trucks had increased 17% in the past 10 years, factoring inflation. The cost of property and building new stations has also risen significantly.
It's ridiculous when you've got what effectively is replacing a shed is costing $2-3 million. That's something that the government hasn't been able to manage and get under control.
The Meetung Brigade are making do with their shed, a tight squeeze until a new station's built.
It'll give us a safer area to work and be able to respond, quicker response times.
The state government was contacted for comment. Jack Morgan, Win News.
Regional Victoria is of course known for its wildlife, but not trotting about in the middle of our streets. The team at Bendigo Brewing was left stunned after it caught a deer passing by the brewery on security camera. It didn't stop in for a pint in the hot weather, but definitely made a few patrons question if they'd had one too many. And coming up next on Win News, Central Victoria, a warning: an international strain of bird flu is winging closer to Australia. And rare cars, iconic trucks and world-class collections rev up summer tourism. Australian wine exports have fallen for the year, dropping 8% in value to $2.34 billion, according to Wine Australia's latest export report. It says the decline was driven largely by lower shipments to China, the US and UK. But it's not all bad news, with markets such as Canada, Singapore, Thailand and Malaysia showing growth. The national wine industry body says changing consumer habits, cost of living pressures and global market challenges are affecting demand. The federal government is ramping up efforts to protect threatened species from bird flu as more cases are identified overseas. The highly contagious strain has been detected on Heard Island but is yet to reach the Australian mainland. Experts warn it's likely only a matter of time.
The federal government investing $5 million to keep threatened species in captivity safe from bird flu.
It's a complex situation and clearly quite a scary issue that's been knocking on our doorstep. 21 federal government grants going towards measures such as quarantine and triage facilities.
From Perth Zoo to SeaWorld, we've also provided funding, of course, to states and territories to help them prepare to make sure that we have appropriate mobile testing units.
The funding coming from a $100 million package aimed at improving surveillance and preparedness. The H5 avian influenza, causing mass mortalities of birds and other wildlife internationally, detected on Heard Island in the sub-Antarctic region late last year.
We currently don't have the bird flu H5 virus here in Australia, but of course we're not going to be able to stop it forever.
We're on the front foot with this one. We're aware of what's going to go on here to be in quarantining birds and all practical measures, stopping bird feces coming in aviaries by netting in aviaries and things like that. The
flu anticipated to arrive via migratory birds, most likely in spring.
We'll continue to work with experts and people who know how these things work, the experts and the evidence, and that is what is guiding us.
We've got to do the best we can to do what we can to do to help these birds in any way we can.
Australians who come across sick or dead birds are urged not to touch them and call the Emergency Animal Disease Hotline. Elliot, Win News.
Some kids watch from the sidelines while others play, but not because they don't want to. Team Sports for All is focused on changing that, making sure financial hardship doesn't keep regional kids out of sport.
For more than a decade, an Australian charity has been working to ensure every child has a place on the pitch.
Sport is expensive, and by removing that financial barrier, we can connect them into their local community sports clubs and give them all the opportunities and benefits that provides.
Team Sports for All covers registration, uniforms, shoes and equipment, giving children from low-income families access to sport.
These children are totally anonymous when it comes to being funded by Team Sports for All, so they can just be like one of the other kids on the team.
Each child is also paired with a mentor, offering guidance and support throughout the season and beyond.
Being in these kids' lives gives them real-life mentors who may be going through similar things that they have been, and can help them navigate these difficult teenage years and showing them what's on the other side.
According to studies, participation in team sports can also reduce risks like youth crime and isolation.
Our club is a safe space for them, no matter what their background is, no matter if they have the means to pay or not pay, that they feel an equal and valuable member of our club. And that is where Team Sports for All comes in.
Natalie McGarry, Win News.
Revving up tourism over the summer holidays, a regional Victorian museum is driving record crowds. Rare cars, iconic trucks and world-class collections are bringing visitors from across the country.
From classic chrome to roaring engines, Shepparton's Museum of Vehicle Evolution's firing on all cylinders.
Most of these cars have been in garages for a really long time and don't get out into the public anymore. They've done their show scene and they're just sitting in people's sheds.
The museum recorded a 40% jump during the Christmas and New Year period, driven by show-stopping exhibitions like the Icons display.
So it was a good opportunity to get them out and put them on display to bring back some memories and show them off once again.
Showcasing Australia's Australia's street machines, show car legends and summer Nat's favourites. The exhibit's taking visitors on a trip down memory lane.
Tried to do a bit of a timeline from the earliest, sort of iconic cars of those eras, so going back to the 70s.
Driving from Adelaide, car enthusiast Barry Dine knew he had to hit the brakes.
It's amazing, yeah. It's probably a lot better than what I originally thought it was going to be, yeah, and very well put together, and the creators done a really good job.
The automotive history display even testing staunch brand loyalties.
They're all pretty cool cars, yeah. I'm a Holden guy, but even the Fords sort of scrap up pretty good here.
Natalie McGarry, Win News.
Researchers have discovered a potentially habitable planet. The new discovery is just 6% larger than Earth and lies in a region where water could exist on the planet's surface.
Although we don't know the exact orbital period of this planet, we estimate it's more likely to be between 300 to 500 days. This makes it have a 50 to 50% chance to reside in the habitable zone of its host star.
Dr. Chelsea Huang and lead researcher Alex Venner, alongside colleagues, have played key roles in the international research with teams including NASA.
This planet is orbiting a star that's most like our Sun, so we really hope this planet provides us a window to think about real Earth twins.
The planet is estimated to be about 150 light years away. Friday Night Sport is next with Jared Constable and JC. Local cricket is getting to the pointy end.
Yeah, that's right, Bruce. And two clear favourites have emerged in both the Bendigo and Emu Valley comps. Can they win the flag? And a country cricket star crowned the new captain of Australia.
Incredibly fun, remarkably functional, and effortlessly stylish. Introducing the all-new Ford Puma. A compact SUV that really packs a punch. Looking good has never been this easy. Secure yours today. The all-new Ford Puma. Effortlessly stylish.
All senior and junior matches in the Bendigo District Cricket Association will be suspended tomorrow due to extreme heat. The association says the decision was made to keep players, officials and the dedicated volunteers and curators safe. Meanwhile, round 10 of Emu Valley cricket is on this weekend. Emu Creek's up against top of the ladder Mandurang. Axe Creek will take on Sedgwick. Both teams are fighting for a place in the top four. West Bendigo is battling United and California Gullies hoping to score its first win against Spring Gully. A number of regional Victorians are still racing the clock to be fit and eligible for selection for the start of the AFL season in March. Two are at the Brisbane Lions. Yarram's Josh Dunkley is easing his way back into full contact as he overcomes both shoulder and ankle concerns, while Horsham's Jared Berry is on non-contact duty after missing last year's grand final.
We're starting to get into games, which is good. There was a fair few surgeries, as you said, but there's starting to be less and less numbers out in the track. And we also picked up a few boys that were in rehab as well.
The Lions are currently on a pre-season camp. Their opening round opponent is the Western Bulldogs on March 7. One local cricket club will have some pep in its step this weekend with a West Bairnsdale product, now the captain of Australia. Sophie Molyneux's received the crown and says while she has big shoes to fill, she'll strike her own path.
Gippslander Sophie Molyneux replaces Alyssa Healy as national captain across all three formats. She was asked if she wanted the honour late last year.
Spent that time in Bairnsdale over Christmas and was able to have a really good think about it. A couple of interviews after that, and here we are today.
The 28-year-old will take the reins when her T20 side hosts India, beginning an all-format series next month.
I've gone through, three or four teams, captains, Melbourne Renegades, Victoria, and I've found a real passion for helping people. And I look at that Australian team and what we have now, and we've got generational talent at both ends of the scale. And to be able to bring all that together, that's the beauty and the really exciting part for me.
Shoulder and knee injuries, as well as mental health, have kept the all-rounder on the sidelines in the past.
I wouldn't change any of it. That's been a part of my journey. I'm grateful for everything that's sort of come my way. It's been tricky at times, but I've always had, family here and the support of everyone around me. So, I'm sure they'll be able to bring some of those lessons into this.
Her first overseas duties will be in March when the Aussies tour the Caribbean. But for now, the West Bairnsdale Cricket Club product is in seventh heaven.
I've always loved the game. I've lived and breathed it. Dad poor Daddy hasn't got a shoulder anymore because he's thrown me that many balls. He ended up just putting a ball on a string for me so he could just stand there and watch.
Bruce Roberts, Win News.
That's our night in sport.
Terrific, JC. Thank you very much for that. Stay with us. Jeong will have your weekend with the details after the break.
There's a heap to love here at Strath Village. There's the new IGA with big brands and big wide aisles, not to mention a heap of fashion stores, great cafes and plenty of free parking. Meet me at the Village, Strath Village.
Welcome back. Another scorcher day for our region with a severe heatwave warning in place for the northern country to start our weekend. Relief is on the horizon though after a record-breaking heatwave that's impacted parts of our state for over a week. Our Friday weather peak comes from Mal capturing the skies over Golden Square. Thank you so much for that awesome shot. Now let's look at the details from today. Plenty of sunshine in Kyneton today, maxing out at a top of 42. Light winds pushed about for most of the day in Bendigo. Temps warmed up into the 40s during the afternoon. A dry day in Hopetoun with humidity in the teens for most of the day. Swan Hill was one of the warmest places to be overnight, reaching scorcher temperatures, reaching that top of 44, and another hot day in Balranald. It could get even warmer as we go to air. On the charts, a low pressure trough is lying through northeastern parts of Victoria and will persist into tomorrow. Looking ahead, a strong high pressure ridge pushes in from the west with a south to southeasterly flow set to develop across the entire state by Sunday. To the forecast for central Victoria, partly cloudy with a slim chance of late showers. Storms are possible with possibly severe damaging winds on the way. A overnight low of 20 in Castlemaine, heading to a top of 36 degrees. We're expecting warmer, scorching temperatures in Kerrang, Swan Hill and Balranald. For Bendigo tomorrow, partly cloudy with a medium chance of late showers. Fresh winds could pick up in the late afternoon. And in Melbourne, a cloudy day with late showers possible. Looking at the days ahead for our region, Sunday's looking windy with temps expected to cool off a little and plenty of sunshine to follow on Monday and Tuesday. Have a wonderful weekend, and that's all for weather tonight. Bruce, back to you.